Welcome everyone. Today we're going to dive into a really profound message from the Quran, from Surah Ta-Ha, that just stops you in your tracks. It's all about the two fundamental paths our choices can lead us down, a timeless lesson on cause and effect and, our ultimate accountability.
Peace be with you all. I'm truly so glad you're here to join me for this. We're going to explore some powerful verses together, and my hope is to break this down in a way that's really clear, insightful, and hopefully really meaningful for you.
So let's just jump right in with a question to get us thinking. Have you ever really stopped to consider how our inner spiritual state, our connection, our remembrance, actually shapes our outer reality? These verses suggest that link is way more direct than we might think.
Okay, so where are we heading for this explainer? We're going straight to Surah Ta-Ha, which is the 20th chapter of the Quran. Specifically, we're going to zoom in on verses 124 through 127. These verses lay out this powerful contrast between two very different life journeys and their outcomes.
Let's start with the first path, which honestly serves as a really profound warning. It describes what happens to someone who makes the choice to turn away from divine remembrance and guidance.
Wow, the verse doesn't pull any punches, does it? It states that turning away from God's remembrance leads straight to two huge consequences. First, a constricted life right here in this world, and second, being raised blind on the day of resurrection. Let's really unpack what that first part means.
The Arabic phrase here is ma'isha dandak. Now, it's so important to get this right. This isn't necessarily about being poor or lacking money. A person could have all the wealth in the world, all the fame, all the success, but still be living this constricted life. It's an inner hardship, a spiritual emptiness that money just can't fix. It's like the walls are closing in, even if you live in a mansion.
So what does that constriction actually feel like? Well, it can show up in a lot of different ways. It can be that deep feeling of being disconnected, a constant, nagging anxiety no matter how good things look on the outside. It's that search for fulfillment that never seems to end, and maybe most importantly, a total loss of inner peace. It's like trying to navigate life without a compass, just lost.
And then the Quran does something incredible. It shifts scenes and throws us right into this dramatic dialogue that happens on the day of judgment. This conversation just brings the consequences of that choice to life in such a personal and frankly heartbreaking way.
Imagine this person standing there in total shock, asking, "My Lord, why have you raised me blind? I had sight in the world, I could see." And this question really shows a deep misunderstanding. See, they had physical sight, of course, but they were blind to the signs, blind to the guidance that was right in front of them the whole time.
And the divine response is so direct, so just. It draws this perfect line between the action and the consequence. God says, essentially, my signs, my guidance, they came to you, but you forgot them. You pushed them aside. And so, in exactly the same way, today you are forgotten.
So you see the principle of justice at work here? It's not random. The consequence is a direct mirror of the choice. Forgetting guidance leads to being forgotten, to being left out for mercy right when you need it the most. It's such a powerful lesson in accountability.
But, and this is a huge but, that is only one side of the story. The verses don't just leave us with that warning. They immediately pivot and show us the beautiful alternative. This is the path of hope, the path of mercy, the path of reward for those who choose to turn towards guidance. And just listen to the language here. It says Allah will hasten His bounty for them. It doesn't just say they'll get a reward eventually. It suggests an accelerated blessing, a reward that comes quickly because of their piety. What a massive contrast to the constricted life we just talked about. So what's the recipe for this path? Well, the verse lays it out very clearly. It's a combination of three key ingredients. First, having an awareness and a deep reverence for God, often translated as fear. Second, a genuine belief, a real conviction in your heart. And third, and this is crucial, turning that faith into good deeds, into righteous action.
And here's a concept that is just truly beautiful. The reward isn't just a simple one-for-one exchange. No, it often surpasses the deed itself, which is just this profound sign of divine generosity and incredible mercy. Your return is always greater than your investment.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. These verses have laid out two totally distinct paths, right? Each one has its own set of actions and its own inevitable outcomes. And really, it's the ultimate choice that every single one of us faces.
This table just summarizes it perfectly. On one side, you have the path of neglect. The action? forgetting guidance. The result in this life, a constricted life. The final result, spiritual blindness. And on the other side, the path of piety. The action, piety, faith, and good deeds. The worldly outcome, accelerated bounty. And the final outcome, eternal success. The difference is just night and day. And if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. This isn't just some abstract story about a far-off future. This is a practical guide for our lives right now. It's a call to be mindful of our choices, to be clear about our intentions, and to understand that we're accountable for the direction we're headed every single day. So I'll leave you with this final thought to reflect on. These verses from Surah Ta-Ha are like a map, and they clearly mark two very different destinations. The real question for all of us is, when you look at your own life, at your daily choices, which direction are you heading?